Okay. Thank you everybody for joining us tonight for Up and Moving. My name is Isaac. I'm a grad student in the Kinesiology and Integrative Physiology department at Michigan Tech. And the goal of Up and Moving is to provide home-based, virtual, and also recorded workouts that people in the community, students can watch to try and stay physically active at home during the pandemic here. So for tonight's workout, we're going to focus on some strength training. So we're going to have a strength training circuit, full body, kind of using a bunch of different muscle groups. So we'll have some lower body exercises, some upper body exercises. We'll start off with about a 5-minute warm up or so, get the heart rate up, get ready to work, lift a little bit heavier weight. We'll go through the resistance training exercises we have, and then we'll end with a little bit of a cool down at the end. In total, I'm hoping it can run about 40-45 minutes or so. So that is the plan. If you are just joining us here, a few things that you may need for the workout you can gather as we get into our warm-up. I always have a sturdy chair, something you can lean against, put your body weight on during the exercise, some of the exercises. I've got a bag. So this is a tool bag that I can throw some weight into and kind of use as sort of like a dumbbell. You can do the same thing with a backpack. If we need to add some body weight on us, you can throw some weighted items into a backpack to add weight to your body. Cans of soup, bottles of water, rice bags, anything with some weight works. If you happen to have dumbbells, fantastic. We can utilize those tonight too. And that should be everything that you need for the workout. So pretty minimal equipment here. Should be able to gather everything you need right at home. So let's go ahead and we'll jump into our warm-up. So we're gonna go through a few different movements for about 20-30 seconds, get all the joints warmed up and our heart rate up. So let's start off just by doing some high knees, sort of marching in place here. So think about driving that knee up to your chest. Get a little arm swing in. Start things off nice and slow here. If you don't already have one ready, good to have a water bottle with you too. We'll be taking some frequent water breaks and rest breaks here. So nice to have something right there for you to hydrate with. Good, let's go ahead, we'll switch it up. We're gonna go right into butt kicks. So you're gonna be taking that heel, driving it up to your butt, and trying to kick yourself in the rear. This may feel a little stretch in the front of your legs here, getting those hamstrings in the back of the leg working. Good, let's go ahead, switch right into another movement. One of my favorite warm-ups, Frankenstein kicks. So you got those hands out in front and you're gonna drive your toes up to your fingertips, trying to keep your knee fairly straight and just alternating legs back and forth. This may feel a little bit tight in the back of the leg, but as you loosen up and warm up, you can think about getting your toes a little bit higher on each of your kicks. And just get those feet as high as you can. If you can't get them super high off the ground, that's okay. We just want to get to that point where it does feel a little tight in the back of the leg. Good, let's go ahead. We'll switch our movement again. So we're gonna go here into a little bit of a partial squat. So you can even put those hands on your knees and then you're gonna come up open your arms up into a Y and look at the ceiling. So down here into the squat, up, look at the ceiling, up into the ceiling. So we got a good extension in our back and in our neck. This is a good stretch here. Try to get those back muscles sort of warmed up. Spine moving a little bit. Good. Few more of these. Great. All right, we'll go into a new movement. So feet just outside shoulder width here. So we're gonna get a little bit of a wider stance. And then what you're gonna do is kind of lean into one leg and you're gonna keep that opposite leg nice and straight. So sort of a lateral lunge. We're just gonna be shifting from side to side. You're gonna feel it maybe a little tight on that groin, on that straight leg, but you're kind of leaning into that knee, keeping most of that weight on that leg that you're leaning towards, and then getting that slight stretch on that other leg. And if you need to, you can put those hands on your knees here to give you a little bit of support. And again, as you start to loosen up here and get warmed up, you can think about getting a little bit lower on these and a slightly deeper lunge. Just going nice and slow, rocking back and forth. Don't want it to be too painful of a stretch, just a little bit of discomfort. Just to where it feels a little tight. Good, few more of these. Great, all right. So we're gonna switch into some arm circles going forward. So let's get a little side to side step in here too, so we can keep the full body moving all together. And we're just making some circles, those arms. And as you loosen up, we can try to make those circles a little bit bigger. And use a little bit more of that space in our shoulder joint. Get to some real big circles. Perfect, and let's just go right into crosses in the front. We'll shake those shoulders out a little bit. So I'm just sort of reaching for opposite sides of the room. Good, and let's go right into backward circles now. So we're going to switch direction on these. We'll try to make nice big circles once you're feeling warmed up. Great. Okay. We're going to go into a little bit higher intensity stuff now. We'll get our heart rate a little higher before we go to a break. So we're going to go with some lateral hops. So jumping side to side. Really thinking about driving off that foot and pushing off to the side. Start to get those glutes a little bit warmed up in the back of the leg there. Just a little hop. If you don't feel super comfortable leaving the ground, you can always just step side to side too, without actually turning it into a hop. Sort of a speed skater movement, I guess these are called. Great. And let's transition into just jogging in place now. So if you can, try to get those feet off the floor. We'll sort of get those calves a little warmed up. Good job. And we're getting to the end of the warm up here. So hang in there with me. I'm going to do one more movement after this. And then we're going to get into some of our strength exercises. Great. All right, we're going to go into a jumping jack. So we can do a full jumping jack or a variation where you're just stepping out to the side. Bringing those arms up overhead. So either one of those variations works. Should be breathing a little bit harder now. Starting to warm up. Good job. And we're going to go for 10 more seconds. So let's try to increase the pace a little bit if you can. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and time. Good job. Nice work. Warm-up's done. So go ahead, grab a drink. Let's take a little bit of a break here. I'm feeling ready to go now. All my joints are feeling loose. Ready to do some strength exercises. Okay, so we're going to work through 4 exercises today. And eventually we're going to get through 3 sets of each one. All right, so we're going to do these in a circuit style, which means we're going to go from one exercise to the next. So we're going to do 4 exercises in a row. First round might go a little bit slow. I'm going to show you each one, and you can find which variation of each exercise feels best for you. Once you get the hang of it, then round 2, 3 will be a little bit faster. So bear with me on the first one. So first exercise in our circuit of 4 is just going to be a squat. Now we can change it, make it a little bit different this week, because I know sometimes regular squats get a little boring, but it's a good exercise. So we're going to do what's called a pause squat. So what you're going to do is go into a regular squat. And again, you can get your feet at whatever width feels comfortable. You can point your toes at any angle. Whatever stance feels good for you, just pick that. You're going to go into your squat. When you get to the bottom, you're going to stop and pause for about 2 or 3 seconds. So you can do a little count. 1, 2, 3, and then back up. Back down. 1, 2, 3. So it's called a pause squat. So you lose a little bit of momentum and you hang out at the bottom for a bit. So easiest variation is to use a chair in front of you for a little bit of extra support, and you can get down and you can use your upper body to help you up a little bit. All right, next hardest variation is going to be with no chair. So just going with body weight, and you can use those arms as a counterweight. Now, if you need to make that a little bit harder again, you can grab a backpack. So this is just a matter of adding some extra weight to your body, but you can do a backpack. You can also hold on to dumbbells if you want to and hold them in front of your body. And we do the same thing here. So we get to the bottom, 1, 2, 3, back up. And that's what our squat looks like. So go ahead and see which one of those variations works best for you. I'm going to start with the easiest variation and show that first. So ideally what we want to shoot for is between 8 and 15 reps. So you can stop anywhere in there. As long as by the end of the set, you feel like it's starting to get challenging, maybe the muscle's burning a little bit, or your movement is starting to slow down. So here we go. Let's go into our first set of squats. So we're going for 8 to 15. See what you can do. And remember, 1, 2, 3 at the bottom and back up. So get that pause. 1, 2, 3, and back up. And you can sort of regulate how deep you go too. If you can make it all the way down, perfect. If you feel more comfortable with a little quarter squat and pausing here, that's good too. But I encourage you, if you can make it, try to get as low as possible. If there's no knee pain. Good. Perfect. 1, 2, 3, and back up. 1, 2, 3, and back up. 1, 2, 3. Good. So I'm getting to the bottom, pause, and then I drive that floor away with my feet. Trying to keep my chest up so I'm not collapsing forward too much. Whew. Give us a few seconds here to finish that up. Whew. Okay, our second exercise. While you're wrapping up, I'm going to show the second one. So we're going to be doing a one-arm row. So with this exercise, you can grab onto a dumbbell if you've got it, or you can use a bag, can of soup, or a bottle of water will work too, anything with some weight. And what you're going to do, there's a couple variations. So first one I'll show you is you can put a knee up on the couch or on a chair. I'll show you on my couch because it's right here. Throw that other hand down. And so I have this leg out, suspended, kind of giving me some balance. And then this arm I can grab onto my weight and I can pull it up like I'm starting a lawnmower. Right? So I'm trying to keep my chest facing the ground. I'm driving my elbow, pushing my chest out and pinching my shoulder blades. So a one-arm row. Now we're going to have to do both arms. So you'll just have to switch over after you do that arm and you'll hit the other arm on the opposite side here. Looking just like this. If you want to make it a little bit harder, you can always increase the amount of weight. So I could add some extra cans of soup or tools to this bag. But this will make it a little bit harder to do a freestanding. So here I'm just sort of getting in like a sprint position, like this. And then I'm going to bend over, I'm going to row from right here. And then I will just switch sides, put my other leg back, and then row here. So those are our variations. See which one works. Again, we're going to shoot for about 8 to 15 reps. Wherever the set starts to get challenging, you can shut it down. All right, let's do our first set. I'm going to start with my right arm. Driving my elbow up, pushing my chest out and pinching my shoulder blade at the top. So think about taking that elbow to the ceiling. What you don't want to do is open up like this. You want to keep that chest facing the ground. So you can see the only movement I really have going on here is in my shoulder and in my elbow. Everything else stays nice and stable. Good. Once you finish that arm, you can just flip and we'll go to the other arm. I'll show you my setup here again. Knee on the couch, hand on the couch. Drive that elbow to the ceiling, pinch the shoulder blades, push the chest out. Good. Nice work. All right, so once we finish a set with both arms, we'll go ahead and switch over to our next exercise. So go into our third exercise in our circuit. And again, after this first round, things will move a little bit faster because you'll be familiar with each one of these. So next exercise we're going to go to is another leg exercise. So this one is called a single leg deadlift. So essentially what you're going to be doing, I'm going to show you the easiest version first, have a chair for a little stability. What you're going to be doing is reaching down, we're hinging at the hip. I'm going to move my chair a little bit out of the way here. We're hinging at the hip and bending down. So you can see I'm basically doing a deadlift, but I'm doing it on one leg. So I kick my back heel back, and I bend at my hip and reach toward the floor. And I'll keep a little bit of bend in my knee. It's not super straight, just a little bit of bend, but for the most part, I'm trying to move here at that hip. And you can kind of think about a straight line from your shoulder down to that opposite ankle. You can see that I maintain this line as I kick that foot back. All right, so we're going to do that for both legs. We'll switch, hit a set on the other side. Now, if you want to make it a little harder, you can get rid of the chair and try to do these without any stability and just balancing. So again, it'll look just like this. Another thing you can do is add weight if you need to make it a little bit harder. So I can put some weight in that opposite hand, and I can do that same movement with a little bit of weight. All right. So again, we're going to go for 8 to 15 on each side. I'm going to start with my left leg, do a set here, and flip to my right. So here we go. We're hinging at the hip, bending down towards the ground. And this is an exercise that is really going to work your glutes and then your hamstrings. So really in the back of your leg is where you're going to feel this one. Probably primarily burning in your glutes is where most people will feel it, but a little bit in the hamstrings. So I bend, I come back to center. You can see I'm hinging at that hip. So hinging at that hip and bending over. Another thing to think about here is keep your hips level. So as you bend down in the front, you don't want your hips to open up like this, right? I'm trying to keep my chest and my hips square to the floor as I go into that hinge. All right, so once you finish one side, we're going to go ahead and switch to the other side. Same exact thing, but we're just switching legs here. Good, and again, trying to move at that hip. You can see that I'm just bending down, hinging at the hip joint, and kicking that back foot behind me. Almost like you're trying to kick the wall behind you. Sometimes that's a good cue to help you stay balanced and get that back leg in the right place. My hips and my chest staying square to the floor. Again, just try to get as low as you can. If it starts to get really tight, you can't quite reach all the way to the floor, that's okay. Whew, good. Right. So once we have finished that exercise, we're on to our last exercise in the circuit, so our fourth exercise. And this one we're going to be doing a little bit of, it's sort of a push-up variation, but it's going to use your shoulders a little bit more. So I'm going to show you just what it looks like at first. Basically, you're going to get in this position here, where I've got my hips at about 90 degrees and I'm leaning into a chair. And then you're going to be coming down and pressing up. So it's not a push-up from here. Basically, you can set up like you're going to do a push-up, but you push your hips back, and then you're leaning your head sort of towards the edge of the chair, and then pushing away. So it's a little bit more of an overhead push than a push out in front of you. So a little more focused on the shoulders. So one more time, set it up like a regular push-up, but you push your hips back, and you're sort of leaning forward into the chair and pushing it away. So hips should ideally probably be at about 90 degrees. So that's the easy version. Show it how you can make it a little bit harder. We can do that same thing, but it's going to be on the floor. So I'm going to get again here, hips at 90. I'm going to bring my head to the floor and then push my body up. Good. Now, if you still need it a little bit harder because you got strong shoulders, I'll show you one last variation you can try. You can actually kick your feet up on the chair, then get your hips at 90 and press from here. So it adds just a little bit more weight onto your body. So preferably try the chair first, then maybe the floor if the chair is too easy. And if that's still really easy for you, you can try putting your feet on the chair. So let's go into a set here. So we're going to go for 8 to 15 again. So here's the setup. Like I'm going to do a push-up. I push my hips back till I'm at 90 degrees. And then I lean into that chair and I push myself away. You'll probably feel this a little bit in your triceps. You feel it in your shoulders. So as many as you can get here until it starts to burn. If you make it to 15, you may have to pick a slightly harder variation, but these are challenging. Woo. That burns. Those are tough. So a great way to basically do an overhead press here, but using your body weight. Okay, so we have now gone through all 4 exercises. So let's take a little bit of a water break. And what we're going to be doing is just going through those 4 again. So we're going to go at a little bit faster pace now that you know the movements. I'm going to show a slightly different variation for each one. So you can kind of see me do them multiple different ways. You can try them if you have to. So if you made 15 easy on these exercises the first time, I challenge you to either increase your weight a little bit or pick a harder variation. And if you had a hard time making it to 8, then you can make the exercise a little bit easier by decreasing the amount of weight you're using or picking an easier variation. All right, so we're going to go right back into squats. So I am going to show you the second hardest variation, just going with body weight here. So we're going to go for 8 to 15. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, pause and up. And drop it down. 1, 2, 3, and up. So we're still looking for that pause at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, up. 1, 2, 3, up. 1, 2, 3, up. 1, 2, 3, up. Good. And I want you to think, make sure that your knees are moving in the direction of your toes. So your knees aren't coming together like this. They're going super far wide. They should sort of be tracking over the direction that your toes are pointing. 1, 2, 3, and up. Good. And if you make it to 15, you can stop there. We'll make it a little bit harder on the next set if you get that far. I am almost there. Do one more. Pause and up. Good. So that should hopefully be burning a little bit in your quads and the front of your legs. That's the primary aim. So let's go right into rows now. So I'm going to pick a little bit heavier dumbbell here. I used my bag the first time. I think my dumbbell might be heavier than my bag, so I'm going to step my weight up a little bit. So again, knee on the couch, hand here, grabbing onto that dumbbell, driving my elbow to the ceiling and pushing my chest out, pinching my shoulder blade. So we're going to go 8 to 10 with each arm. Nice and slow, so make sure you're not just dropping this dumbbell to the floor, you're controlling it on the way down. And you can sort of watch me if you need help with your tempo, but it should be about a 3-second count down and a 3-second count up. So we've got things nice and slow and under control. And this is an exercise that's going to work your biceps, the front of your arm, and then also all through your back. It's a great back strengthening exercise here. We'll see if you can make it to 15. It's starting to burn for me. Woo! Ate it. So once you finish one arm, we're going to just flip and go over to the other arm and do the same thing. So nice and slow, under control. Driving my elbow to the ceiling. Pushing my chest out, pulling that shoulder blade back. Good. All right. That's both arms done for me. Nice work. If you need a quick drink, you can grab one. We're going to go back to the single leg deadlifts. So I am going to show you how to make these a little harder. If you need to keep the chair and use that for balance, perfect. Stick with that. If you felt like your butt was burning on the last one, then just stay right where you were and stick with that variation. But I'm going to show you how to do it with a dumbbell, so a little extra weight. and then no chair. So I'm gonna have to really use some balance and stability here. So if you are gonna use a little bit of weight, I recommend you put the weight in the hand opposite of the leg that you're working. So if you're gonna be on your left leg, put the weight in your right hand. Kind of helps you balance a little bit more. So here we go. I'm gonna hinge at the hip. Reach towards the floor, just a slight bend in my knee. And repeat. And we're gonna go for 8 to 15. See what you can make it to. Think about kicking that back leg behind you and keeping a straight line from your shoulder down to that ankle that you're kicking back. So if you kind of mirror my arm here, you can see that I got a pretty straight line. Show you what it looks like from the front. I can keep my balance. Keeping those hips and chest square to the floor. So I'm trying not to open my hips up too much. Starting to burn. Ooh, good. So once you finish one leg, we're gonna go ahead, flip-flop, go to the other side. This is my bad leg. I have terrible balance on my right foot. I don't know why. I'm really good at balancing on my left foot, not so much on my right. So this is a challenge for me. So hips square, bending down, reaching for the floor. Making sure that we're moving at the hip, so hip hinging movement. I'm starting to feel it burn. Woo! Good. All right, so we've got one more exercise left and then we've completed our second circuit. We're getting there. Cruising right along. All right, so we're gonna go back to those kind of overhead push-up exercise here. So again, I'll show you how to set this up on the chair. So we're starting kind of in this push-up position. Push your hips back. My hips are now at 90 degrees. I lean into the chair and then push it away. So this is one that you really want to make sure your chair doesn't slide on you. So just make sure that that chair, I've got mine on carpet, so it's not going anywhere. Good, we're going for 8 to 15 again. Those triceps, the shoulders, they should be burning by the end of this. Again, keep the pace nice and slow and under control. Whew, I'm feeling it already. Whew. When you get done, you can shake it off a little bit. And that is our second round done. So we've got one more to go. We are almost there. The hard work is almost finished. I'll tell you what, where I'm really feeling it is in my glutes from those single leg deadlifts. I don't know about you guys. So let's take some time here, get a drink of water. Can catch our breaths a little bit. We want to be as strong as possible going into our last set. That's what we want with strength training. You should feel like every set you go into, you're feeling as strong as you can be. Good. Okay. So I'm going to show the hardest variation for each exercise on this last round. So again, this is our last time we're going to do each one of these exercises. So if you have to increase your weight to make it harder, pick a harder variation. Try to really sight it in here so you can make this last set challenging. So for the pause squats, I am going to add a backpack. So this is going to add some weight to my body. And then I am also going to hold some dumbbells. So you can hold those dumbbells right up on your shoulders like this. And now I've got a bunch of weight added. All right, we ready? We're going to go for our last set of 8 to 10 on the pause squat. So don't forget your pause. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and up. 1, 2, 3, and up. 1, 2, 3, and up. Good. 1, 2, 3, and up. Make sure you're going nice and slow on the way down. We got good control as you drop into that squat. Yep, this one's going to burn my quads. I can feel it. So see what you can get. Last set. Slow, under control. Again, you can position your feet wherever they need to be to feel comfortable. Don't feel like you have to keep them shoulder width apart or your toes pointing forwards. You can put them wherever you need to. Everybody's built different. Everybody squats a little different. I'm almost there. I'm feeling it. Let's see if I can get 2 more. Woo. Good. And once we finish up, take a little breather. We are going to go into our bent over rows. So I'm going to go with a little bit heavier dumbbell, and I'm going to do these freestanding this time. So I'm not going to put my knee on the couch. I'm going to do them from this standing position. So it makes it a little bit harder. Whew. Okay, let's do it. So 8 to 10 on each arm. So my foot that I put forward is going to be the opposite of the hand that I've got the weight in. So I'm here. I'm going to try to get my torso at about 45 degrees, maybe even a little bit less. And I'm doing that same movement I did when I was on the couch. Dropping that dumbbell nice and slow. Then driving my elbow to the ceiling, and then I'm pushing my chest out. So you can see I'm kind of pulling the shoulder blades back, pushing the chest out at the top. Whew, good. So once you get your 8 to 15 on one arm, we can go ahead and switch and hit the other side. So I'm gonna do the same thing over here. Also with these, if you are doing them freestanding, you can put that hand or elbow on that knee if you need a little bit more support. Sometimes that helps out. Nice and slow, under control. Pull the shoulder blade back, push the chest out, drive the elbow to the ceiling. Good. Whew. I am done. Made it. All right, so we can shake it off a little bit. I'm gonna grab a quick drink. I'm getting out of breath a little bit, so I'm gonna catch my breath just a tad here so I can do my last 2 exercises nice and strong. Okay, 2 more left. So we're gonna go into our single leg deadlifts again. In my opinion, this is the hardest one. I don't know how you guys are feeling at home, but these are tricky. So I'm gonna go with weight again. I think this was challenging enough for me. I made it to 15, but it was like starting to burn and I was slowing down and losing my balance. So I'm gonna stick with what I did last time. All right, so we're gonna go 8 to 10 on each leg. Good, so I break at that hip. Little bit of bend in my knee, but I'm trying to keep that leg fairly straight. And I reach down as far as I can. Chest and hips staying level, staying square to the floor. You can kind of think of yourself as being, they have those birds at the Chinese restaurant that reach down and pick up a toothpick. That's what I kind of think about myself when I'm doing these. I'm one of those birds and I'm reaching down, picking up a toothpick, coming back up. Good. And I'm feeling it burn in my butt. That's for sure. We got like maybe one more here. Woo. All right. So once we finish up on that leg, we're going to go head flip, hit the other leg. If you need a second to catch your breath, go ahead and take it. I'm going to flip right on over here and go to the other leg. And again, if you're watching me, don't laugh at me. Don't have very good balance with my right leg. I'm going to try my best here. Moving at my hip. Pushing that back foot back behind me. Sometimes too, if you have some balance issues being on one leg, if you focus on something out in front of you, something on the floor or something on the wall, can kind of help you keep your balance a little bit better. Good. I think I got a couple more in the tank here, but it's starting to burn. Ooh, yeah. Feel those. All right. Take a second. Grab a drink. We're going to go into our last exercise. So this is going to be those push-ups again. So real quick, I'm going to do them on the floor, but I'm going to show you the chair version one more time because these are a little different. So I start in like this push-up position. I push my hips back, and then I bring my head to the edge of the chair and push it away. And I want to make this one a little bit harder. So I'm going to do them on the floor this time. So I start in this push-up position, get my hips 90 degrees, and let's go for our 8 to 10 reps here. Ooh, it's starting to burn. Whew. I think that's all I got. I made it to 12 on that one. Those are tricky. Whew. All right. Give yourself a round. You made it through 3 sets of 4 tough strength training exercises. So we worked a little bit on upper body strength, some pulling, some pushing, lower body, moving at our hip, moving at our knee. So we got a little bit of everything in. Take a quick swig of water here. And we will go to a little cool down. But all the hard work is done. So let's go right into a hamstring stretch here. So we'll start from this standing position. If you'd rather sit and do these, you can. I'm going to do them from a standing position. And then we're going to reach for those toes. If you can't quite make your toes, that's fine. We'll try to keep the spine fairly straight, knees fairly straight. So it should be a little bit tight back there in those hamstrings. And once we get down to the bottom, we'll just hold this. This is where you can focus on taking some deep breaths. Just trying to let the muscle that you're stretching sort of relax. Think about every time you breathe out, you let some tension out of it. You can sink a little bit deeper into it. And as you loosen up, you can try to reach a little bit further. Good. Let's go to quad stretch here. So I'm going to get my chair out for balance. But you can grab onto an ankle and pull it up to your butt. Stretch out the front of the leg. And if you can't quite reach on to that ankle, there's another thing you can do here too. If you just put that foot up on the chair, and you can kind of lean into it and get that stretch too. If maybe you don't have the mobility to grab onto the ankle. And you can even do that with the chair in front of you too, like this, so that you've got a little bit of balance and stability. try to just breathe here. Good. Heart rate's coming down, starting to relax a little bit. Let's go ahead and switch legs. So go to that other side. Grab that ankle, pull it up to your butt. And once more, if you can't quite grab onto that ankle, you can just put that leg on something behind you, kind of lean into it. Then you can get that same stretch there in the quad. Got a little stability in front of me here with my chair. There's a couple of options here. And the further that you kind of bring your body up, the more of that stretch you'll get. So if you lean over, pretty easy. You come here, it gets a little bit harder. Whew. All right. Let's go with one more quick upper body stretch and then we'll call it a day. So we'll take that elbow up to your head. You can grab onto it. Try to reach that hand down to the floor. And then from this position, you can sort of lean to the side and you should get a stretch through that tricep and then kind of through your lats and your back as you lean away from that arm. Oh, it's the best part of the workout. Feels good to have the tough stuff done. All right, get that other side. So other elbow up, we'll grab onto it. Think about reaching that hand down to the floor, and then we'll lean away. Whew, all right. Good cool down. My heart rate's down almost to normal now. That was a tough workout. Thank you for joining us. Hope you enjoyed it. And stay tuned. Tomorrow there is a high intensity interval training workout with Jamie at 6. If you're interested in back-to-back workouts Monday and Tuesday. And you can check out our schedule the rest of the week. Please, if you know any friends, family that you think may benefit or enjoy our program, go ahead, please invite them, share the link to our website with them, and hope to see you guys again soon. Thanks for joining us.